Hello everyone, you're welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. We are broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. My name is Babla Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, the paramount ruler of the Bamenju people in the west region of the Republic of Cameroon, His Royal Majesty Sokuju Jean Rameau II, says that the killing of students in Kumba Meme Division, southwest region of the country, is an indication that Cameroon is on the wrong track. He says the palace is bleeding. And after close to a year out of the country, the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, John Fundi, returns to the country and says without truth and love for one another, there will be no solutions to the problems plaguing not only the northwest and the southwest regions, but the entire nation. Those were our top stories. The paramount ruler of the Bamenju people in the west region of Cameroon, His Royal Majesty Sokuju Jean Rameau II, said that Cameroon is gradually moving to hell, so to speak. According to him, the killing of students in Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy, Fiango Kumba, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, is one last sign that the country is on the wrong track. He says the palace is bleeding. Details in this report by Fomi Armstrong Sander. We'll be having this report coming to us in a short while in this edition of the news. Time for us to talk about teachers who have decided to stage a week-long protest against the killing of students in the Kumba, and of course other atrocities being committed in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. Teachers and students have become prime victims and targets. They are being targeted by armed men in the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and the teachers in the country have decided to put on black throughout the week to protest against that. Immaculate Fokwe has more.
All dressed in black, teachers across the national territory strongly condemn all the atrocities committed in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, with the latest being the killing of 7 children in a classroom in Fiango Kumba on the 24th of October 2020.
This black I'm putting on today is to mourn our children who were brutally killed in Kumba. Well, the day was so shocking and my heart bleeds. So I could not retain myself wearing this black because I heard teachers were to mourn for today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday. Since I am a teacher and a mother, I know what it takes to lose a student or to lose a child. That is.
According to teachers of Government School Nilong Brazzaville in the Douala 3 subdivision, their choice of black is a way of showing their indignation.
So I decided to put on this black to prove to the world and to Cameroonians that we feel so bad. We are in pain and we are weeping. That they should see our cry and look for a strategy or for a way out to solve this problem so that children are not more brutalized and our country too is at peace.
Black symbolizes pain and another sense hope. Hope because we think this will be an opportunity for the crisis to come to an end. Several lives have already been lost, so what we need now is peace. The teachers syndicate in the coming days plan carrying out a protest action if nothing is done to end the crisis. They regret the fact that school milieus have now been transformed into killing grounds, making the environment not suitable for teaching and learning in the war-torn regions.
Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Atanganji Paul, was in Mother Francisca International Bilingual Academy in Fiango, Meme Division, Southwest Region of the Republic of Cameroon today, bringing with him a message of comfort, a message of condolence, but also help from the President of the Republic for the families affected by the killing of the 7 students in that school on the 24th of last month. And of course, the minister was received by a town deserted by its inhabitants. Derek Jato on the line to Kumba.
It is Monday, November 2nd, 2020 here. We are on the streets of Kumba, chief town of Meme Division, and behind me you could see a true picture of a ghost town. Ghost town has been respected today, and at the other side of the road you could see an atmosphere that is a bit busy because it is a security atmosphere welcoming the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration. Minister Paul Atanganji is here in Kumba today, the 2nd day of November 2020, to condole again with the families and to give another official statement from the Cameroon president. His first stop point was at the institution where the incident took place. Minister Paul Atanganji is here on the campus where last October 24, 2020 was transformed into a killing zone. It was right here that the gunmen stormed this particular institution by name Mother Francisca Bilingual Academy and killed 7 students, all of them belonging to Form 1 of this particular institution. Well, this is the 2nd time Minister Paul Atanganji is coming here in connection with the massacre that took place, but this is the first time he is coming at the site where the horrific pictures were taken, the horrific act was being carried out. I'm talking about Mother Francisca Bilingual International Academy, where Minister Paul Atanganji mentioned that the Cameroon government is determined to track the perpetrators, that Cameroon government is determined to make sure that those who committed the act be brought to justice. And the Minister of Territorial Administration, while lighting of candles, 7 candles signifying the 7 students that were murdered, made it clear that the Cameroon people as a family should pray for these innocent souls to be accepted in the bosom of the Lord, and that we should remain very vigilant. What I noticed was the security reinforcement. The security around the minister was total. Of course, the Anglophone crisis that has been going on for 4 years now. Bamileke Street was famous for all sort of atrocities, and maybe that's why the minister's security was that total.
President Paul Biya sent off to come and extend a heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. And yes, asked us to encourage them in these very trying moments. We are all men of God, Christians, Muslims, and those who pray. It is in this building that a young Cameroonian, 7 young Cameroonians were killed. And you can look at the image, the impact of the bullets. Mr. Governor, is very important. I would like the governor to stand the other way so that we have come here. These are 7 candles representing the 7 young Cameroonians who died. You can see their ages. They range from 10, 11, 12, 14, 15 years. We are asking their souls to rest in peace.
Amen.
And at the same time, the flames of the Holy Trinity, God Almighty. These are innocent children who have gone because they were studying. The strength of our prayers the prayers from the Muslims, from the Catholics, from the Baptists, the Presbyterians, and all other communities, that the strength of the prayers should render justice.
Well, after visiting the school, the Cameroon Minister of Territorial Administration has ended his visit with a meeting with local authorities and security close collaborators over here at that extreme end at the Senior Divisional Officer's office for Kmer Division. Whatsoever they must have discussed, that has not been made public to the press, but this is the situational picture of Kumba, chief town of Kmer Division, this 2nd day of November 2020. We are Derek Jato and Zayebwe for the news.
Thank you, Derek Jato and Zaiboy, reporting there from Kumba, chief town of the Kmer Division, southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. And I told you earlier that the paramount ruler of the Bamenju people in the west region of Cameroon, His Royal Majesty Sokoju Jean Rameau II, has said that the killing of the students in Kumba is one last sign that Cameroon is on the wrong track. He says the palace is bleeding. From Armstrong Sander.
Traditional rulers of the west region of Cameroon, Sokoju Jean Rameau began his reaction on current affairs in Cameroon with an interrogation. He asked that how much quantity of blood must be spilled in Cameroon before leaders will understand that the country is on the wrong track. Looking at Cameroon as a traditional African organization asserting, the paramount ruler of Bamenju questions what must be done for the person he calls the chief to be able to address his people or go down himself to meet his dying people who now feel like orphans.
Who will one day tell me what is going on at the palace? At the time when the palace is burning, but we can only hear the voices of notables and servants without hearing the voice of the chief.
Sokoju Jean Rameau says what happened in Kumba demonstrates that nothing is sacred any longer in Cameroon. Regretting that the bad spirit has found a place to stay in the minds and hearts of young Cameroonians, Sokoju Jean Rameau says the Kumba incident is a message for every Cameroonian from north to east, west and south.
We have hit the drum and now it is burst open. We are all concerned. And if it has not reached you today, then it is just a matter of days.
In a philosophical lamentation with the use of words deeply buried in African tradition, the paramount ruler of Bamenju implored Cameroonians to ask deep questions concerning the challenges faced by the nation. He wants Cameroonians to deeply reflect on why and how the country got to where it is today. Why have Cameroonians become so wicked and heartless towards one another? Is today's Cameroon the same Cameroon that we knew some years ago? Who then can lick the sword and say he or she is not guilty of what the country is going through today? And for how long shall the soil of the land be used to bury the worst while we shy away from real problems? After asking these questions, the Dean of Traditional Rulers called on citizens to each identify their responsibilities in the current state of affairs in Cameroon.
And the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, SDF political party, John Frundi, has said, without truth and love for one another, there's going to be no solution for the problems plaguing the Republic of Cameroon, not just the northwest and the southwest regions, but the entire nation. And he was speaking yesterday at his residence in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, during an ecumenical ceremony organized in honor of some militants of the party, some top officials of the party, who died recently while he was out of the country. The national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, John Frundi, has been out of the country for close to 1 month. He said he went out for treatment but was blocked abroad by the coronavirus pandemic, and he has now returned to the country. And he was at this ceremony yesterday, attended by members of other political parties, other leaders from sister political parties, notably Gregoire Owona from the CPDM. Minister Gregoire Owona was there, as well as Minister Issa Chiroma Bakari of the National Salvation Front, other political leaders like the Manidem president, and of course diplomatic representatives who were attending that ceremony. And the national chairman speaking to us during that meeting said that without truth and love for one another, there will be no way to solve the problems plaguing the country. Take a listen to the national chairman.
To see the graves of the people and investigate, let the people of Kumba tell me what happened. Then I'll come back to the press. I'll be granting a press interview where we'll talk much more. So we're here for the Crise, and I'm glad all of you came. And I removed the shield because people say they're not seeing my face well. So, and people go and grab their faces. I've come back. Is this the true face of Frundi? All right, we'll talk.
What is your prayer today to God for your loyal servant to continue to work beyond?
That now that all the people across the board have come for us to cry them, let this love transcend across all the facets of things that we are doing in Cameroon. Because until we love each other, until we are honest to each other to tell the truth, we cannot change this country.
This love to transcend the most degrees, and I'm sure during your trip, you met the separatists fighters out of the country. What advice did you give them?
None of them came to me, but I told them that they should come together and choose a leadership. Because, I mean, go to Bamenda, there are different camps. Abroad, there are different camps. When I had Zoom conferences with them, I was able to count at least 18 different camps. How do you, if you cannot agree, how would the children on the field agree? No. So they're all grabbing people now is money. And that's why you, the younger generation, I blame you. Because everybody's, I need money now. And I want it now. Let us work for our country. And the monies will come. God bless you all.
From the national chairman of the Social Democratic Front, calling for truth, love, and unity for a way out of the socio-political and security tensions in the northwest and southwest regions of the country and the other security, socio-economic, and political problems affecting the nation at large. And speaking to us during that ecumenical service in the Yaoundé, the first vice president of the Social Democratic Front, Honorable O.C. Joshua, said that the party has been going through a very difficult moment, and all is being done to put the party on rail. All is being done to make sure that the party gains full gear in its political drive. Take a listen to Honorable O.C. Joshua.
To have him back with us. It has been a difficult time for both the chairman and the party. And as you know, the party constitution is such that the vice presidents of the party execute duties assigned to them by the national chairman. So the party was functioning all okay. Maybe it wasn't functioning as some people would have wished it to function, but I think there is nothing you can say that the party was supposed to do that it didn't do. And the national chairman is back. He's back in town, meaning that over the coming weeks we'll be sitting together to try to work out on our activities for 2021. You have to know 2020 has been a very complicated year for everybody. It has been even more so complicated for us in the SDF. And as you see, we have lost so many high-level cards of the party. That's why we thought that we cannot relaunch our activities without first commemorating their passing away. And we hope that very soon this entire COVID-19 thing will be behind us and that we can start working normally again. So we really focused towards working full-time again in 2021.
And I asked Honorable O.C. Joshua what is happening between him and the regional president of the Social Democratic Front in the Littoral region, Honorable Jean-Michel Nietzsche. There's been a lot that is being said, notably on social media, with regards to an alleged conflict between the two top officials of the Social Democratic Front. Honorable O.C. Joshua explains.
There is absolutely no conflict between me and Jean-Michel Nietzsche. There is no conflict between the party and the littoral executive. We have a very well organized political party. I think there is no political party that's as well organized as the SDF. Otherwise, we will not be standing after 30 years. And so we have hierarchy. You have a president, you have vice presidents. And then after the National Executive Committee, you have the regional executive committees. So there is absolutely no issue about misunderstandings because the National Executive Committee gives out an orientation to the different regions, who then turn and give out orientations to the electoral districts. So we are well structured, well organized, and people who want to see a conflict where there is no conflict are just wasting their time. There is absolutely no problem as far as I am concerned, and as far as the SDF is concerned, between us. Now, probably he took, or let me put it this way, some people would like to make the opinion feel that he took positions that were contrary to the party's position. I am not aware of such a position. He took positions that were probably a bit, to an extent, a bit further than where the party found itself. But there is only one position, that is the party's position, and as long as he's an SDF member, the party's position, the position that I gave out, is the position he stands for. He is a member of this party, and there are no two SDFs.
The member of the Social Democratic Front, SDF, political party, a member of Cameroon's Upper House of Parliament, Senator Kenyan George, says that there is urgent need to restructure the SDF, and he thinks that a lot has gone wrong as far as the SDF is concerned. Take a listen to Senator Kenyan George.
The father of the SDF is back, and now we are hopeful. And it is our hope that as we celebrate the life, because I call it celebration, the life of Honorable Bandam, my bâtonnier Sama Francis, Barrister Musole, Mayor Balik, and the rest of many SDF militants that died when he was away. It is my wish that as he is back, we need to sit and restructure the SDF, because the SDF of today is not the SDF of yesterday. Many things have gone wrong, and the population is doubting the SDF. The population is asking us a lot of questions. And now that the father of the SDF is back, this is the time that we will need to sit and rethink about the way forward. And the main structure that can sit and set the ball rolling is the neck. And we just pray that God will give the chairman the wisdom to convene a neck meeting so that we can sit and redirect the SDF in the event of the series of issues that we have had, which are not good for this nation.
And we sought to know from Senator Kenyan George what went wrong in the Social Democratic Front and should be corrected immediately so that the party can get back its full strength. Take a listen.
The population is castigating us, our militants. They frowned at us deciding to go in for the past elections, from municipal, legislative, although we boycotted the regionals. But the population feel that it was no event because our boycott. according to them, is because we did not even have people who will vote for us in the regionals. And so the issue of us participating in the past election will be discussed by the SDF to see whether it was a wrong or a right decision. But I think I've taken a personal decision on it. To me, it was a wrong decision for us to participate in the past elections. And my hope is that as we will be sitting in the next meeting, we will redirect the future of the party, because the population is somehow disappointed, and we need to tell them that we were wrong in one way or the other, and to work with them together to see that everything goes on well for the population first and for the SDF.
After tensions and postponement, a mayor has finally been elected for Marwa 1 subdivision in the far north region of the Republic of Cameroon. Amadou was finally re-elected mayor over Issa Yusuf Balarabe, all CPDM militants. Innocent as a report.
Joyous populations of Marwa 1 in streets of the municipality. They spent all the night witnessing election of a new mayor, their favorite. In an election marked by violence and postponement, outgoing Mayor Amadou Hamidou is finally re-elected Friday, October 30th.
Je voulais dire sincèrement,
I sincerely thank all the population of Marwa 1 and thanks to God for preserving me in this position, which was rightfully mine since February.
Amené aujourd'hui à retrouver la place qui était la mienne, la place qui me revenait depuis le mois de février.
From 11 a.m. up to midnight, the election between the CPDM candidates Amadou Hamidou and Issa Yusuf Balarabe proved tough and violent. All efforts by the partisans, with assistance of the CPDM Central Committee and the senior divisional officer, could not peacefully bring both parties to a compromise. Issa Yusuf Balarabe, supported by the eldest member, did not want to allow his opponent get away with the command button.
Vous n'arrivez pas à mettre la locomotive sur le bon rail. La loi exige que chaque 35...
The law stipulates that amidst the 35 councillors, any has rights to file his candidacy, but the eldest member insists that the CPDM party presents a single candidature.
Une coalition avec le RDPC, on a présenté notre candidature.
We of the coalition with the CPDM, making up an absolute majority, presented our candidate, Amadou Hamidou.
Il faut que la population sache.
Regarding the party's indiscipline for over 6 months to pick a mayor, the SDO, Jean-Marc Ekoambaroga, frowns at it, hitting hand on the table, emphasizing the law, nothing else but the law be respected. Unhappy with the administrative decision, the two candidates and their supporters left the hall, but with Amadou Hamidou taking a second mandate. The victor, Jean Ekoambaroga, says now has to work and meet demands of the populations and fulfill promises made during campaigns.
The president of the Cameroon English-speaking Journalists Association, Jude Viban, goes to war against impunity suffered by journalists in the country. He has urged the government to put an end to attacks against reporters. Take a listen.
Day proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly, which in its landmark resolution condemns all attacks and violence against journalists and media workers, State authorities expected to protect them and punish those maltreating journalists rather contribute to torture, enforced disappearances, arbitrary detention, intimidation and harassment in both conflict and non-conflict situations like in Cameroon. More so, the UN General Assembly urges states to promote a safe and enabling environment for journalists to perform their work independently and without undue interference. But the opposite is practiced in Cameroon. Since death of the English journalist Samuel Wazizi, after his arrest and disappearance, known to have been masterminded by defense and security officials in relation to his reporting on the Anglophone crisis, his corpse is yet to be handed to the family, though his death was announced by government almost a year after his disappearance. The family has been requesting for corpse of Samuel Wazizi to no avail. In July 2020, spokesman for Cameroon's military, Serge Cyril Atomfak, said they will not hand over the body of journalist Samuel Wazizi to his family anytime soon, adding no family member or lawyer can have access to the corpse because it has been sealed to permit investigators determine cause of his death as ordered by Cameroon's president. Family members, their lawyers and colleagues accuse the military of torturing and killing the journalist, a charge the military denies. Another journalist roughly bundled while exercising his duty in Yaoundé on September 22nd and taken to the station for torture is Equinox TV's Rodrigue Ngassi. He was arrested and tortured for merely covering the nationwide peaceful protest called for by Maurice Kamto, a protest banned by government. Other journalists like Awa Thomas, Ben Terence, T. Conrad, and many others had been detained for simply doing their job. Some had fled the country following threats and intimidations from top government authorities. Condemnation and demand for freedom of the press by associations and journalist trade unions in Cameroon have fallen on deaf ears.
We wrap up this edition of the news with this sad story on a baby, concerning a baby born in Konsamba in the Mongo division of the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. The baby has been delivered or was delivered with lots of complications, very difficult complications. Take care, some of the images may be disturbing. Smanjik and Gabriel.
A newborn baby boy. He was brought to this earth without hands or legs. A shock to the population of the village and the mother. It wasn't my wish to have such a child. I have kids already, but this one surprised me. I beg on the president and wife to help us. We are poor.
Mon mari et moi, nous sommes les débrouillards, on n'a rien. La famille de mon mari comme la famille et ma famille. Nous sommes les pauvres.
We are at Barehok village in Barebakan subdivision of Mongo division, where its inhabitants are still to come to terms after a native of the village gave birth to a baby without hands and legs. Just like the population, the father was also surprised.
C'est un miracle pour moi.
It's a miracle for me because I have never seen such since I was born.
Moi-même, j'ai été surpris. C'est le départ. J'ai pris ça pour les blagues. Elle a dit non, je ne suis pas en train de blaguer, je suis sérieux.
We went into the room and collected the necessary things. Then we went to the midwife. I stood outside and waited. After some time, I heard the baby cry. But when the midwife asked me to come in, I was surprised.
Là où elle enlève donc la serviette sur l'enfant, je dis voir ce que la dame a accouché. Ça m'a dépassé, j'étais dépassé. Je suis sorti, j'ai fait peut-être 1 heure du temps dehors, seul.
The woman, according to sources within the village, while pregnant, didn't go for antenatal in the hospital. She was locally taken care of before putting to bed. The chief of Barehog advises mothers and would-be mothers.
Ça a été un peu scandaleux pour...
It was a scandal for me and the entire village. My only message is for the young women to always visit the hospital when they are pregnant. If this lady visited the hospital, they would have surely seen the complication in her womb.
Si cela avait été fait dans les normes, je pense qu'à partir des échographies, on aurait dû déceler la malformation de cet enfant.
The boy was later taken to church where the bishop of Nkonsamba, BrigadeAntiSardinard, laid his hands on him before he was taken to the hospital.
Talking Point is up next. Thank you for staying with us in Talking Points. Today we are receiving a teacher, the head teacher of Papyrus Bilingual Nursery and Primary School here in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala, Bekia Bang Jerome Bekwa. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mr. Babila Jonathan. It's a pleasure being with you for my very first time.
You are in black like the other teachers across the Republic who are protesting against the atrocities being committed in the 2 Anglophone regions, notably the killing of students.
Yes, I am in black like any other teacher that is outside there because we are disturbed, we are crying, we are shedding down tears because of what is happening in the 2 Anglophone regions, because pupils and teachers have been the target of the day. And now, when 2 elephants are fighting, only the grass gets to suffer, and we are suffering the cost of what we know nothing about. We are suffering, our children are suffering, and we think that it is high time for us to see into what has to be done for us to regain our place as noblemen of this nation and as nation builders.
Okay. And the question many are asking, but why should teachers be targeted? Why should students? Why should pupils be targeted by whosoever? Because this is something that is prohibited even in international laws.
Yes, it is prohibited, but the sin, what is happening on the field is not what is actually being prohibited, because we do not point fingers to whosoever, but we say teachers are suffering. Teachers are the target of the day. Why? Our pupils are the target of the day. Why? And if teachers are erased and the pupils are erased, what do you think the future of this nation is going to look like tomorrow? The future of this nation will be done. And that is why we are saying it with strong words, with very strong words, that teachers, the place of the teachers should be given to them, and our pupils should be secured. They are our pupils, and they are the children of the parents that are outside there, and they have to be taken care of. They have to be educated, and we and our people should not be a point of target. When you look at what happened in Kumba on the 24th of October 2020, it is very, very, very horrible. We have cried and cried again. But one thing I'm saying here is that it is time for us for total transformation. If you were a bitter person, it is time for you to be transformed so that you can be someone that is consumable. Because it is high time for each and every one to seek the face of God so that what is happening should stop. We are in deep tears, Mr. Babila Jonathan.
A prophetess recently speaking in Kumba during the last visit of the Minister of Territorial Administration and the other 2 ministers of basic and secondary education echoed this message people should go back to God?
Yes, people should go back to God. It is clear. She stood up, she spoke on behalf of the masses. What she said, it was clear. And that was the voice of the voiceless. And if actually everybody will believe and accept that she was the voice of the voiceless, let her voice be taken into consideration.
The national chairman of the Social Democratic Front said, without truth and love for one another, there will be no solution.
And it is clear because it is said that when you know the truth will set you free. And when you know the truth and you are beaten around the bush, you know that you are adding more harm. Look, the government of Cameroon know exactly what they have to do. There have been strategies that they have been putting in place in order to resolve the ongoing crisis. But I call them partial strategies because they know exactly where or what they have to do to bring an end to the ongoing crisis so that we can live the life we used to live again, that we can travel to our regions as we used to do yesterday, that we can celebrate different activities in our regions as we used to do. Today, you cannot travel to Southwest and to the Northwest region without being feared, because you do not know what can happen in the couple of minutes that are ahead of you.
Now you cannot travel without fear, you cannot move around without fear because of the unstable security climate. And you said that the Cameroon government knows exactly what to do. What should it do?
Yes, when I say that they know exactly what to do in order to bring an end to the ongoing crisis, I'm talking about a well-organized, inclusive national dialogue with the third-party intervention.
A third-party intervention, an inclusive dialogue. There's another one that took place. Now, you are calling for another dialogue. Like the other day, the Archbishop of Douala was equally calling for another dialogue. What should be the difference between the dialogue that took place, which was a national dialogue, and another dialogue that should take place now?
You see, when I talk about an inclusive dialogue, when you look at the recent dialogue that took place, we had about 700 participants. And within these 700 participants, it is not every representative that was there. And the rightful representative that were supposed to be there were not there. Let the rightful people that has to come on a round table sit and discuss, be served appropriate invitations so that they come and sit, they discuss as a family, as a father and son, and have common agreement and see how to move ahead.
And have a common agreement. Others are talking about negotiations that should go on between the two parties in order to bring down the guns in those two regions. Do you think that negotiations can also happen?
It helps, because without negotiations, without talking with one another, you cannot find any solution.
You cannot find any solutions. What message do you have for other students, especially students and pupils in those two Anglophone regions of the country, and maybe parents who are fighting to guarantee the right to education of their children?
The message I have for the pupils and students in the two Anglophone regions is simple. Be courageous. Do not relent your effort. And I pray that may the Almighty God grant unto us that opportunity, so much so that our children will be able to go back to school again, so much so that our parents will be able to sleep with their eyes closed, and so much so that we will be able to enjoy the land of peace that we used to call it the land of peace, full with honey and milk.
Bekia Bangjerum Bekwa, you are a teacher, head teacher of the Papyrus Bilingual Nursery and Primary School here in Douala. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
And we wrap up this edition of the news with this information. The government of Cameroon is reminding citizens and all other persons on the Cameroonian soil that the coronavirus has neither been defeated nor eradicated. It is still spreading at an alarming rate across the world, and the Ministry of Public Health says many more persons have been tested positive for the coronavirus within the past weeks, and figures published by the Public Health Minister Dr. Manauda Malachi shows that Cameroon is now counting 22,103 persons tested positive for coronavirus and 429 deaths, as well as 21,151 persons who have been treated, and death rate stands at 1.9%, recovery at 96%. Government is urging all persons to continue respecting the anti-COVID-19 measures, wearing of the face mask in public places, social or physical distancing at least 1.5 or 2 meters away from each other, regular washing of hands with running clean water and soap, and of course regular use of hand sanitizers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.